Hey there, Nocturnals. So I'm going to do a review on The Get Down, which is a mini-series on Netflix at the moment. So I don't spoil it for you, I'm only going to give a review for the first half hour of the show so that you've still got plenty to watch there. So set in the late 1970s New York, in the final days of disco, Zeke lives in poverty with his aunt and uncle Leon in Brooklyn. I have to say, immediately they set the tone really well. The music is amazing. I was engaged from the intro sequence and emotionally engaged in Zeke's life almost immediately. Having grown up in the 70s, and obviously not in Brooklyn, New York, but having grown up in the 70s in poverty myself, I can kind of relate to the things that he's going through. So I'm immediately drawn into Zeke's emotional core, both his retrospective rap, which sets the scene, and the first scene, which sees him distractedly writing love songs instead of watching the oven and burning his Uncle Leon's eggs. The show's barely started, but it has a beautiful use of vocal depth, and there's a rags to riches premise which is established straight up, and that gives us our emotional core. Marlene and Zeke are recording demos in her dad's church. Marlene's little sister watching from the aisles secretly. Marlene's recording this demo so she can pitch it to DJ Malibu at this club called Les Inferno. It's a really rough nightclub, and her plan is to win the dance competition so that she can win a dinner with DJ Malibu and hand over this mixtape that she's been recording with Zeke. Her preacher father is blocking her disco ambitions at the moment because disco is a bit of a dirty word in this very religious household that she comes from. Visually, they capture the feel of the 70s by using really grainy kind of effects, or I think it looks like it's been shot on film. They seamlessly incorporate old newsreels and found footage into the montages, which kind of establishes that kind of 70s feel really well. We get a feel that the streets are always moving, there's always something happening, you know, that there's a lot of danger there, but at the same time a lot of excitement and change all at the same time. Tone is a big thing in a show like this. In the same way in which Stranger Things was unquestionably 80s, The Get Down is unquestionably 70s. They've really captured the tone very well. The Get Down is tonally perfect, giving it an exaggerated blaxploitation feel. The graffiti artists and the disco queens are the heroes on the street for these kids. It's election time. Francisco Cruz is introduced as a bit of a villain character. This is the first scene that kind of starts to drag the show down a little bit. I understand this is set up for conflict later in the film, but it's such a hammy, cartoon-like forced scene that it kind of detracts from the flow that is set up through the rest of the show. We're introduced to Shaylon Fantastic, who is a legendary local graffiti artist who sports red pumas. The red pumas are a visual thing that they come back on again and again within the show. The young members of the Warlords gang confronts the boys admiring the graffiti, and we see one of Zeke's friends displaying reckless abandon as he confronts them, kind of setting up something, I think, further on in the film. Zeke shows his talent when he wins a poetry competition in Miss Green's class at school, but he also shows that he's kind of ashamed of his talent and that he's not really courageous enough to put himself out there. Meanwhile, Francisco Cruz has a vision for the Bronx to turn the decrepit burning ruined buildings into a suburban paradise. Zeke is established as fearful, too cowardly to speak his poems in public. Miss Green, his English teacher, has faith in him, but the pain from his parents' death and the adolescent confusion that he's going through keeps him living in fear and hiding in the shadows, and hiding his gifts. So the hero's journey is established. We see that he becomes a famous rapper from the intro, and now that the scene is established, we can take the ride with him to find his inner strength, because I think that's what this inner journey is for this show. We see a scene with Shaylon Fantastic with a sensei type character who refers to him as the grasshopper. He asks him, have you found a wordsmith? So we kind of think that Zeke is going to be in Shaylon Fantastic's future. I think this is where they're leading towards. And Shaylon Fantastic is given a mission to find a legendary album by Misty Mountains. Zeke becomes concerned that Marlene will be seduced by the corrupt industry folks at Les Inferno, but Marlene just wants to get away from her father's church and make a career. Zeke's friend plants a plan for him to intercept romantically with a gesture by getting the DJ to play this Misty Mountains album. So now we know that both Zeke and Shaylon Fantastic are after the same album. Just as Zeke's coming in to grab the album and Shaylon Fantastic is sort of hanging back, the Warlords come in and they rob the place. While everybody's distracted, Sheldon Fantastic takes the opportunity to snatch the album from Zeke's hands and just run with it, and just book. So he gets chased by the Warlords and by Zeke, and after a bit of ninja maneuvers through the streets of the Bronx, Sheldon Fantastic drops the album and Zeke collects it. By the middle of the episode, we're introduced to the steamy nightclub scene of Les Inferno. Marlene is being seduced by Nancy's son Cadillac, but has her sights squarely focused on DJ Malibu and her mission to get that promo tape to him. She has the demo tape in her handbag. Nancy, the mother of the Cadillac, she runs Les Inferno and most of the drug trade in town. So really, she's got all the power. It seems like she's the underworld in this, aside from Francisco Cruz, who's kind of like sort of the man. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to unfold yet. Again, this is only the first half hour of the show. And this is where Zeke and Sheldon Fantastic's worlds collide as well, because Zeke's trying to get into the club and Sheldon Fantastic, he works the club as a drug runner. This is where I've stopped watching. If you want to see what happens in the story with the Get Down, then you're going to have to watch it. It establishes a very 70s feel. I really like the feel of it. Again, tonally, this show is perfect. Hopefully it can keep it going through the entire of the miniseries. We'll just have to wait and see. But that's my impression of the first half hour of it anyhow, and so far it's pretty cool. I've been loving it. I love the music, I love the dancing, I love the feel, kind of the hot steamy streets of the Bronx. And it is a musical, though it isn't intrusively a musical. Well, not so far anyhow. So if you're interested, go over to Netflix, check it out. It's called The Get Down. I highly recommend it at the moment, at least I highly recommend the first half hour. Let me know what you think in the comments section below, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye for now.